Hi, back again for February, Saturday Sampler, Botanica Park. We're again talking about piecing now, the checkerboard squares. The piecing is really easy, but of course, we're going back to making sure that you have a scant 1/4 inch to make sure that when you're finished with your squares, the blocks are going to be measuring 12.5 inches. So now you've done all your cutting, you're going to be just doing simple strip sets. So make sure you've done your cutting correctly and you're pressing your strips. What's really nice, of course, is that we're working with batiks like you saw in month 1, so they press really nice and easy, and there's no wrong side. So the first thing that you're going to do, you're going to take your marked fabrics. I suggested in the previous video that you mark your fabrics so that you know which one you're grabbing, so you have the correct fabric in place. And then it's really helpful to use this guide. This is what your checkerboard square is going to look like in the end. This is critical because when you look at the finished quilt, these checkerboard squares are going all on the outside, and the direction that your fabric's flowing is going to make a difference. So please make sure you have this set up correctly. Okay, so moving forward, step 1, you're going to make strip set A. This is strip set A right here. You're going to take fabrics 5 and 10, and you're going to be making one strip set. So you're going to take fabric 5 and 10, you're going to strip it together, and before you strip the third fabric, you're going to press away from fabric 10. That's the middle fabric. Press away from it, okay? And then you're going to add the third strip back, which is number 5. So 5, 10, 5. This is what it looks like on the back. Mark it. So I just put a little note that says A. Put it right on there, set it aside, okay? The same thing for strip set B, but you need 2 of those, and they consist of fabrics 1, 5, and 10. First add 1 and 5. You're going to press towards fabric 5, okay? And that's your fabric right in the middle here. And then add fabric 10. Again, press towards fabric 5. So that looks like that on the back. The pressing is important because when you go to put all these little pieces together, if you have it pressed correctly, then all of these pieces nest very nicely together, okay? So mark it, strip set B. You're going to make 2 of those. Strip set C, all right, you need fabrics 2 and 6. 2 of 2 and 1 of 6. You're going to make one set. Okay, so you're going to add 2 and 6, and you're going to press towards fabric 6, and then add fabric 2 again and press towards fabric 6. Mark it number C. And then strip set number D, you need 2 of these sets with fabrics 1, 2, and 6. That's all you have left, hopefully. All right, so you're going to add number 1 and 2. Press towards, they say away from fabric 2. Okay, no, towards number 1. Away from 2. You're going to add fabric number 6. Press away from fabric 2. You're going to do this twice, so you have 2 strip sets. So let's go back and talk about cutting. In all of these, you need 2.5 inch strips. So what I do is I clean up an edge so I have a nice clean edge, and then I turn my ruler and I start cutting off my 2.5 inch sections. Now every once in a while when I'm cutting, I need to clean it up again so I'm not getting crooked. But when I'm measuring, I typically don't measure off the bottom of my set. Once in a while it gets a little wavy. I measure off of my first seam. That way I know that my strip is really straight. So you might want to try that. Think about that, okay? And then after about 3 or 4 cuts, I make sure that everything is straight. You don't want your seams to start moving diagonal or moving around, because all of a sudden then you don't have a straight strip set. You might have to stop and clean it up a little bit. Okay, so pay attention to make sure that these are staying straight so that you have perfect squares in the end. So just something to pay attention to. So you do have to pay attention to the yield. In your first cuts, when you're only doing one strip set, you need 16 of these. When you're doing 2, you need 32. So there you go. Okay, and then I just lay them down by which one I need. So you have A, B, C, and D, and you need, in strip sets A and B, they're going to make unit 1. Okay, so unit 1 in my layout here is the darker color. So this is unit 1, and it consists of B, A, B, right there. Okay, and in the block, it's going to sit in the right-hand corner in the bottom left-hand corner of the block. How do I know that? Well, it's easy. I have a picture, and so do you. Pay attention to the picture. It will be of great help to you. Okay, there's my unit 1 in the right-hand corner and my unit 2 in the left-hand corner. So let's go back to our diagram. Unit 2 is made up of strip set C and D. So here's D, C, D. And it shows you again how it's placed. It's in the left-hand corner of the block on the upper left and the bottom right. So I have it laid out for you, but I also look at how it's laid out. When you have these sewn together, and if you've pressed them correctly, you will see that they nest nicely. If I'm looking at this unit, my seams are going to the outer portion of this block, and here they're going in. So I would sew these first together like this and press, and then sew the next one before I get these units together. So I'd have this sewn together. The same here, have these all sewn. I'd have all my unit blocks together. You're going to be making a total of 8 of these total big squares. So now that I have these sewn together in smaller blocks, then I would sew this block to this one and this to this. But before I do that, I take a visual look to make sure that my block diagram and colors are looking just like they are in the diagram. So visually, I have a diagonal pink going this way and a diagonal dark teal going this way. Make sure that yours are doing that as well. Okay, just take a look before you sew. It's a lot easier to make a change right now than it is when you have them all sewn together. Okay, when it looks good, then sew your units together. I would press this middle seam one to one direction, this to the other, so that they nest together, and then you'll be able to sew the other sides together as well. Do a nice press, and then you're going to save those for another portion of our quilt. Hopefully this will go really smooth for you. It should. Easy piecing, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.